There are now 10 players that have been suspended because of gambling issues. And I got the thing. We talked about before about the integrity of the game, and are we concerned about that with the gambling aspect and the league basically being in bed with all these, online casinos and are we at all concerned about compromising the integrity of the league? And this is what the league does to try to make sure that no, they're cool with that, because if anybody gets caught, they're kicked out indefinitely. Now, those that bet on the actual sport of professional football, they're gone indefinitely, which means for the season. If you bet on other sports and you do that from a NFL facility, well, we know firsthand what that's like with the Lions. It's a 6-game suspension. And I still think that there's room for that to change. Unfortunately, I doubt that's going to change before the season begins. And Jameson Williams will be out for the first 6 weeks regardless. That being said, Jameson Williams has an injury he's dealing with right now with his leg, and he's going to miss the next couple of days of practice anyway. So my question is, when we get through all these issues, what is the biggest concern about the NFL moving forward? For you as a fan, like what do you want to correct with the NFL here? Because I'm concerned that they've got the wrong policy in place when it comes to gambling. I think if you get in bed with the gambling companies, then you have to understand there's going to be gambling. You want to say you can't gamble on the NFL, fine, but you start putting it in an NFL facility. I don't think it makes a damn bit of difference if you're going to get a player that's going to bet on a basketball game and he's sitting in his locker stall 3 hours before game time, or if he's at home. What the hell's the difference? Well, it's an NFL facility. So what? He's betting on the NBA. Nobody cares. The other concerns that I have, you listen to the show, I'm not a fan of games being played overseas. I'm not. My concern is that they're going to expand, and we're going to have an NFL Europe again, and it's going to be part of the actual NFL. It's not going to be played off season. It's going to be played in season. There could be a division that includes teams in London and Munich or whatever. And it concerns me because I don't want to dilute the talent that's here in the National Football League. I like having 32 teams, and I like where it's at right now. And I think if you do add more teams just to go overseas, I think you dilute the talent, and then you've got the whole time difference and the culture thing, and I don't know if it's going to work or not. There's Saudi ownership possibilities, right? We saw what they did with golf. We know they're trying to get in with soccer. They're paying exorbitant prices, and they're buying their way in. Are they going to buy their way into the NFL? It seems like Roger Goodell and the league have said, well, maybe we're not really concerned about that at this time. But look, money talks. Everyone's got their price. Will that price come forward at some point? And everybody's worried about being priced out because these things, they all cost money, right? You're going to pay players more. It's going to cost who? It's going to cost the fan. Even though all these costs are taken up by TV contracts. And there's a concern with that, right? Because ESPN, what are they doing? They're having real financial issues. There's talks that they may approach the leagues about getting involved with part ownership of ESPN, which seems crazy. But the TV deals pay for everything. They pay for the entire payroll of a team. And not just the players on the field, but those behind the scenes. These teams are making a profit before they sell their first foam finger. And yet what happens? You go to a game and typically prices go up every year. Prices go up for tickets. Prices go up for concessions. They go up for merchandising, the whole bit. It's the fans that always pay the price. And at some point, you're going to price the fans out of it. And one of those things that really is concerning to me is something we experienced this weekend. And that we have to get ready for it at some point in the NFL season. And that is streaming. I get concerned about it. We saw it with the Tigers over the weekend. Last Friday night's game against the Padres, was on Apple TV. And if you didn't have a subscription to Apple TV, you couldn't watch it. Now, they had a free trial, it's a 3-month trial that you could sign up for. But what all these companies do when they give you the free trial is they're counting on you to forget about it so that you don't opt out after you've watched what you wanted to watch. Or that you'll justify it in your head, hey, it's only whatever, $10 a month. I can handle that. It's not a big deal. And then you go through to try to go through the rigmarole of actually getting out of it, it's a giant pain in the backside. But it wasn't just Friday's game. It was Sunday's game on Peacock. And not only did it require a subscription to Peacock to watch the game, but they also moved the game up. The game was a noon start instead of the 1 o'clock start on a typical Sunday. So it kind of throws things off there as well. My biggest concern about the NFL moving forward is the streaming side of things. Is that they're going to go for the quick buck and continue to do that and go for streaming services. And again, it's the fan who ends up having to pay for it all, instead of getting the games for free on network TV. And this has been changing for years. It's always changed. It used to be the games were only on, the network stations. And then they started creeping in on ESPN. And then you had NFL Network games. And then you got the Thursday night games. And everything just keeps changing. It's all about money. And I get that it should be, look, the league's going to want to try to make as much money as possible. But to the extent where the fan gets hurt, that's where I'm kind of drawing the line. But I want to gauge your thoughts on this. What is your concern about the NFL moving forward? Are you concerned about gambling? Are you concerned about the streaming issues? Are you concerned about the salaries getting out of hand? Are you concerned about you as the fan being priced out of the sport that you love?